hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.
Welcome again to Street Talk. My name is Ahmad Sakaraki. And on Street Talk, we deal with political, social, and economics here in Michigan, the U.S., and abroad. Now, joining me tonight,
Dennis Burnside,
Charles Thomas,
Paget Maynard.
Okay, man. We've got a lot of things to talk about, but about the January the 6th thing, it's going to be one more. I think it's going to be one more here. And
well, I think there's going to be more than that. The one that ended last Thursday, that would have been July 24th, I believe.
Okay.
Was the last before September.
Okay.
They're not going to have any more hearings the rest of this month or into August, but it was an absolute stunner.
Yeah, laid out.
Oh yeah, they put into plain view of anyone who has eyes willing to see Trump's conspiracy in action, from his interaction with these militant groups like the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, to the inaction for 3.5 hours of Trump as he sat in the dining room watching it on TV, refusing to tell his minions to back up and back off. In fact, the only thing he did was, I believe it was around 2:20, he sent out a tweet that said Mike Pence was a failure and he failed to do his job. He had the courage to do what should have been done. And they immediately went into a chant of "Hang Mike Pence." Right. You could see it on the timeline. He says that the chants for hanging Mike Pence began, and they're on the hunt for the man. And we saw the gallows in back. We saw the things that they did, the feces spread on the wall, the Confederate flag being walked through the Capitol Rotunda, these people beating police and spraying them with bear spray and hitting them with sticks and AR-15s in the tree. Yeah. This was an attempted coup d'etat, initiated by the Oval Office, by the President of the United States, for purposes of retaining power after he'd been legally voted out. And they laid it out in such plain fashion that it's been really difficult for people like Sean Hannity, who's got the IQ of this bottle of water, to lay out and refute. But they're scrambling now. The right wing is trying everything they can to say this is a discredited hearing. It's not fair. We didn't have our side. Well, let's take it back in time. Take it back past Josh Holland Butt putting his little bird fist up in the air and egging on the rioters before he ran out of the building for his life. Take it back before that and go back to the original augment of this thing, and that was a conspiracy between like-minded people who knew that they did not win the election and wanted to retain power at all costs because Trump knows as long as he's in office, he can't be criminally prosecuted.
Right.
But now he really doesn't have much of a hope of ever being back in office again, because even those who lie to themselves about his culpability are also saying that the man's too tainted to ever be president again.
You talk about Josh Hawley. Listen to him. I just want to say to all of these liberals out there and the liberal media, just in case you haven't gotten the message yet, I do not regret it. I do not regret it. And I am not backing down. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to cover. I'm not going to run from you. I'm not going to bend the knee. Now, here is a man after he did what he did and then was running like a scaredy cat.
Yeah.
Why didn't he stand up there and help them out?
Was that Josh Hawley you were just quoting?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when was
he
that?
Said,
Shit, he was
then
running
Donald Trump came out now, supporting now. Listen to Donald. I had an election rigged and stolen from me and our country. The USA is going to hell. Am I supposed to be happy? Well, Donald, the only reason you're not happy is because you didn't get to screw up the country any further.
Yeah.
And if Donald Trump ever gets back in office, brethren, I have another place to go to. You can come down there too. I'll put you.
But you know, at this point, I don't care what Josh Hawley has to say. He's discredited. He's a coward.
Yep.
He doesn't have the courage of his conviction. As soon as his people started breaking down doors and coming through there with weapons, he ran.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear about what Josh Hawley had to say. I don't want to hear about what Trump has to say. He's an inveterate liar.
Yeah.
He's a con man
that's what he
who
is.
conned a big portion of this country into thinking this man had the character and the intellectual capacity to be president of the free world.
Yeah.
And he was an embarrassment in office.
Yeah.
He continues to be an embarrassment post his loss. And what they have to say, I could care less about. What I want to see happen,
Hey, Dennis.
what I want to see happen is I want to see Merrick Garland follow the lead of the January 6th committee and start sending out subpoenas and issuing indictments, and let's get this stuff into court where it belongs. So now we just won't have Bannon going to jail. I want to see Rudy Giuliani. I want to see Eastman.
Yep.
I want to see Jim Jordan. I want to see Josh Hawley. I want to see all these co-conspirators, all these big donors who were in on the plan to have their day in court and explain themselves in front of a jury of their peers, including Donald Trump. He'll be the first president ever indicted for a crime post presidency, and he deserves to be seated in front of a jury next to a judge and explaining his actions leading up to and on January 6th. That's what justice looks like.
They call it a coup.
Listen.
It holds nothing to Watergate.
Oh, no.
It made Watergate look like daycare.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
No.
A violent overthrow of the government
Yeah.
to compare to
Democracy.
Watergate,
Yeah.
it's nothing.
The whole world is looking at this.
You talked a while ago, Dennis, about the hearing went on the other night and whatnot. I know you don't want to hear about Trump. You said just now he should be brought before the judge. But listen to Trump talking about the hearings. The one-sided forum, he calls it, which gives no opportunity for cross-examination or the ability for him to present his side.
I
Wait
need
a
to ask
second.
you a
Wait
question.
a second.
Why do you care what Trump says
Wait
at
a
this
sec-
point?
No. It's just going to what you're saying there. He needs to be there. And he seems to be saying, I need to be there. I need to cross-examine them. Well, okay, going to court. Answer the subpoena and do everything. Let them see the stupid monkey.
But
He is.
the thing about it, he's just talking this to stay in the news, man. You know.
Oh, well, we should know that too.
You know.
Look, when McCarthy
He
had the
wants-
opportunity to put 5 Republicans as the minority leader, he had the opportunity to put 5 Republicans on the hearing, on the January 6th hearing committee.
Yep.
And he refused to cooperate. And then at the last minute, he said, okay, I want to put Jim Jordan, spelled J-Y-M, G-Y-M rather, Jim Class Jordan on the panel with a couple other sycophants. And you know that they would spend every hearing interrupting, disrupting, and bringing up non sequiturs that had nothing to do with the topic at hand. And the Democrats smartly said no. They are not acceptable because we saw how they performed in impeachment hearings. So if you don't want to bring anyone forward that can that will pass muster, we've got 2 Republicans who will.
Yeah.
And that's Adam Kinzinger and that's Liz Cheney.
Yeah.
And they are on the committee. They are Republicans. This makes it a bipartisan hearing. And beyond that, every single witness, with the exception of the 2 election workers from Atlanta, have been Republicans.
Yeah.
And not only that, they not only are Republicans, they are Republicans who work within the inner circle of the Trump administration. So this Trump crying about we don't get to cross-examine is a total crock. You've got your people on this panel, and the evidence is being rolled out in a way that it's not stultified, interrupted, and dammed up.
Yeah.
We're hearing it plain, and it's damning you, man.
Well, see,
And they all had their lawyers.
Well, yeah, but see, he's just speaking. He's speaking to his people.
Yeah.
That's all. You know.
That's why I don't want to hear anything he
Yeah,
has to say.
you know,
it's
he's
all,
just speaking
it's
to
all
his
crap.
people. You know,
We-
trying to
we
be in the
know.
news.
He's stirring the hate thing.
Yeah.
Because
We know Donald Trump likes the media. He likes to be noticed. And his mouth is just to get him a little more, as they would say, a little more noticement. But I would love to see him sitting in court and being questioned, because he will put him on himself in prison because he cannot tell the truth.
Well,
yeah.
well, the thing is out of all this here, and we done heard from all these people, they're still saying, a few people in the news still saying, they don't think they got enough for to bring him up to, it's like,
Right.
You don't think
But
they have
so-
enough? What
so-
more they want?
So look to me, I could care less what happens to him. All I want the people to get all these things that he did and all these things, get them out there, and for him running again, let him run again.
I care exactly what happens to him.
Because he's not gonna win.
I care exactly
dumped.
what happens to him. We got brothers in prison now, as we said here, bumping our gums, doing time for marijuana possession. That's legal in most of the country. We got people in jail for carrying a gun, doing years, where the whole country's awash in guns, and you can't turn the corner without bumping into one. So what I'm saying is I want justice. I give a damn what happens to him. I want him indicted. No, let me backtrack. I want him arrested, indicted,
Convicted.
brought into a courtroom, and he can have his lawyer there, and he can cross-examine the witnesses to beat the band, because lawyers ain't the problem. They got all these witnesses who were in front of the January 6th committee are joined by their lawyers to the left and
That's
right.
right.
That, lawyers ain't the issue. The issue is they can't gum up the works. They can't have Jim Jordan interrupting and asking irrelevant questions and talking over witnesses and just being an obstruction.
Yeah.
You've got a free flow of information coming out to the people, and it's damning. So what I want to see happen to Trump is I want him to put his hand on the Bible and answer questions under oath, and then I want to see a jury of his peers decide whether or not this man has committed these crimes.
Well,
that's what I want to
okay.
see happen.
I would too, but do you think it'll happen?
Yes, I
Yes,
think
I
there's
do.
a real good
I do
chance
too.
it happen.
From what
If
I
you
see-
look at what's happening in Atlanta right now, at a state level, where nobody can pardon him or any of his cronies. There's nothing they can do. That sister down there's putting in work.
Yeah.
And she has
They gotta-
subpoenas going out, Firefield, and the way she's building this case is a case it's predicated on a criminal conspiracy.
Yes.
And anyone who's been involved, from Giuliani to Eastman, all these clowns that ran away from the January 6th hearing, hoping Jim Jordan can block it for them, are all implicated here, and they're in deep trouble there. And then Merrick Garland just said last week, he took off his tutu and put on a pair of pants and said there is no one above the law. And he was asked specifically, what about the former president? He said, I said there is no one above the law. We're going where the facts take us. And if you look at the indictments, if you look at the subpoenas that have been going out from the Justice Department, you can see almost a mirror image of what's been going on in Atlanta, only at a larger scale. So I think there's a very good chance Trump will be in
And
court.
another good issue too, democracy is on trial. They got to clean it up.
Well,
don't wish too much now. Let's not.
Well, there's other countries.
democracy, I don't know about democracy because
Yeah, it is.
we've been here for, 400, 500 years and we
Ain't never had a pure democracy.
no,
I know, but
So-
they do.
Yeah,
Now listen,
you were saying about
he's
you were
right.
saying.
It's on trial.
Yeah.
We may not have had real, true-to-life practice of democracy, but it's on whatever was is on trial, and we
That's
could
true.
lose that. So we'll be worse off.
Yeah,
It's true.
But let me ask you this: do you believe? Because I just don't believe. I just don't believe they'll ever get Trump where he will be in jail. I just don't believe it. No,
Dennis, I mean,
we got this case like you said in Georgia, where, and they're in New York. They got
Well, that's a civil case.
they got stuff on him there.
Yeah, that's a civil case.
Yeah.
You can't be remanded to a jailhouse because of a civil
Right.
finding.
Right.
And the criminal side of that investigation mysteriously went away.
Because they
And I think that has something to do with compromise. But anyway, going back to the cases that are at hand now,
right.
Trump is going to have to defend himself in court. And the facts as they are being laid out as we speak lead me to conclude that it would take a Hail Mary for this man not to end up convicted.
Mm-hmm.
It would take a Hail Mary for this man not to be sentenced
yeah.
to some type of jail time.
And
I just don't
one way-
see. I don't see the inevitable outcome
and-
any other way.
There's
He's going to go
one
down
way.
in history as being the worst president and,
Well,
and
he-
throwing that on Obama.
Yeah, he's got that king
well,
already.
he's
Yeah.
already the
Yeah.
worst ever been, the worst than ever be. We've had some terrible presidents, but he's the worst.
There's one way I was going to say that he may not be convicted.
Huh?
There's one way that he may not be convicted. You want to guess what that is?
Well,
He dies
if he
first?
dies, So
He's not going to just die. It would be that he took his life.
yeah,
That's the only way he's going to get out.
that won't happen. That won't happen.
Narcissists usually don't commit
Right,
suicide.
right.
Now, one of them cheeseburgers might do him in, but I don't see him
Hey,
pulling.
no, he-
I don't see him
Whatever
pulling
he
the
would
trigger
do.
on himself.
My
now.
thing is, Donald Trump is so deep into this poopadoo. If you listen, just Thursday, if all you heard was Thursday night gone from the committee, you see the man is in the heart of planning and carrying out. Don't forget that morning he stood up there and said to the people, go down to the Capitol. I'm going to be with you. On top of that, he knew so many of these people were armed
Oh yeah.
with all kind of
he didn't
high
care.
power rifle.
Yeah, he didn't
That's why
care.
the Secret
So he
Service.
cared.
This was
he
no-
cared. He
he
wanted him
cared.
to have
Well,
been
that's-
killed.
The Secret Service wouldn't let him go.
And speaking of Secret Service, that's where I was going next. Let's talk about the Secret Service for a minute. The Secret Service wants us to believe that they had a
no.
planned cleanup update of
Yeah.
their communication systems planned for January 5th and 6th. They want us to believe that the most consequential 48 hours in U.S. history, somehow they had the data, but they purged it
Yeah.
because they had a routine maintenance coming
Yeah.
up.
Gotta
Now, the pressure's starting to hit the Secret Service, and we're finding out that some of these agents are hiring their own private lawyers.
Yes.
Now, why would a Secret Service agent do that when they have access to free representation from the government? Because they know they're criminally culpable.
yeah.
And there's a couple agents in particular who have been known to be Trump sycophants,
Yes.
who have been running around in his hip pocket for 4 years now, going on 6 years now after his defeat. And they're afraid of what their words were coming out. And if they do come out, We're going to be able to tie this end to this end in a way that is irrefutable.
Man,
Right.
look,
Yeah, 'cause how did he
this
get those
whole
secret
thing
papers
is
out of
being
there?
woven together.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Several
a separate issue. How he took those classified documents out,
yeah.
boxes and boxes of
Right.
it. But to your point, I don't think it could be done without the Secret Service's help.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't want. They're not even asking about that. They're asking about what were you
Yet.
talking about on secret on January 5th when it should have been known to you. I mean, your job is to protect the president. Should have been known to you that there was a violent, extreme movement that was coming to town on January 5th
Yeah.
and the morning of the
They knew
6th
it.
with intentions of marching on the Capitol building. We
And
know that
overthrowing the
from
government.
the
Yeah.
communications we'll find
They
out.
knew
What was
it.
your reaction to that?
Yeah.
Oh, we lost all our communications. I
Yeah.
can't tell you. I
And
forgot.
they
Yeah, they
already knew
destroyed
about
it,
it.
yeah.
They
Don't you
knew
see?
about it. They
Don't
knew
you see that the Republicans now are turning this thing against the Democrats? Nancy, why did Nancy and the Senate leader Schumer, why didn't they do something about this? And the stupid guy here talking about the real question should be, why didn't they do something about the security? Why did they not do that? Why did they say this? All in a way to try to push things aside. But the reason is he himself is involved. Back to these guys are like Jim, GYM, Jordan, all like them. The reason he couldn't be on that committee because he was and is still one who is being looked at as a perpetrator.
Absolutely.
A part of the planning. Look, he has so much mouth. He's always, yep. Now, did you speak to the president this day?
I can't remember.
Well, I don't
Maybe
know.
I did. I don't know.
But well, maybe the morning, maybe, I don't know. It could be the morning, it could be the,
Yeah.
Well, don't give me no baloney.
Yeah.
He knew.
Right, he knew.
And right now, when he getting on with all his stupidity, they should jack him up now. Those guys from the school, the wrestling students, they should now come back out and say, hey, how come? What about what you were aware of in our case and denying knowing anything? They got too many skeletons. And that's why they didn't want to be on the... Well, he would have liked to be there to create confusion.
Yeah.
And after they said no, that's why their leader, pulled the five.
Yeah. But going back to what you were talking about earlier, all these shootings in these public places,
Yes.
that stems from the reaction or repercussion from the hate that was been stimulated through Trump's election for his office. You know, dividing the country and raising the hate, all these hate groups. And he had to be communicating with them while he was in office.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it's been going on for a long time, though.
yeah,
I mean, Columbine was during Clinton.
Yeah.
We had
Yeah.
mass shootings during Bush administration. We had them during Obama's.
Yeah.
But your
It's-
point,
it's
they've
hybrid.
escalated.
Yeah.
Right.
They certainly have escalated since Trump has been in office
Right.
and continue on into Biden's. The idea that we should have military-grade weaponry freely roaming the streets. I mean, we outlawed Thompson machine guns, right?
Right.
Because the gangsters in the 20s and 30s. Why isn't it illegal for me to walk around with a surface-to-air missile? It's my right under the Second Amendment. I can make the same argument.
Yeah.
They can draw the line if they want to.
Yeah.
But I think there's a reason why they want the Society of Washington guns. I really do.
well, you
You're
know.
talking about the AR-15? They got a new weapon coming out, and it's going to be available to the public. It is, to hear them say, it shoots through almost all of the bulletproof vests worn by law enforcement in the country right now. And this was by this Bossy, who, he's some kind of consultant and thing. Not only that, it has a noise suppressor on it. So it's hard for you to tell where the shooter is, where the shooting is coming from. Not only that, it is twice as powerful as the AR-15 and is deadly accurate from a much further distance.
Yeah.
So it's a nightmare.
This piece of weapon, they are allowing,
Yeah.
and listen to this guy now. Cohen. He's president and CEO of Sig Sauer. It was a rare opportunity for passionate consumers to own a piece of history.
Well,
now my question, what history? Is killing more and more people something to be proud of? To own a piece of that history?
Well, it's their history.
Well, you know, the thing is that right now, I know the people in what's Connecticut, what his kids, all those kids got killed a few years ago. They just won a case where they can sue the gun company, but other than them, the gun company ain't got to worry because they can't be sued.
Yeah, they get the halo.
Thanks to the Republicans giving them immunity.
You know.
Yeah. You can be sued. You can sue car manufacturers. You can sue people who produce food.
Yeah.
You can sue someone who makes clothes that are flammable. But you can't sue weapons manufacturers because the U.S. Senate says so.
Yeah.
It's a corrupt.
Look at this, Dennis,
administration.
talking about can and cannot sue. A woman won an over $5 million settlement. Well, not settlement, but the court awarded against an insurance company because she was in a car that they insured. She was having sexual intercourse in the car and came down with a virus. And now the insurance company must pay out over $5 million. You're going to tell me they are responsible for her choosing to go there? Baloney.
Well, a few years ago, a woman went to one of these drive-in and ordered some coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And
Spilled it on her.
Yeah, and she was able to sue.
She should have sued. And she should have won.
Well, yeah,
that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
A woman getting in the car, getting a groove on, catching STD is hard for me to understand why she'd win that case. But the McDonald's case, it's gone down in infamy. If people knew the details of it, they would agree that the woman had the award coming. That McDonald's location and McDonald's all over the country had been hit with a barrage of complaints about the coffee being too hot.
Yep.
They had inspectors going in telling these people that the coffee was too hot. The woman who had the burns on her lady bits was an elderly woman who was handed a cup of scalding hot coffee that she couldn't handle, and she dropped it and spilled it and burned it. It was third-degree burns. Now, in my way of thinking, they deserve to be sued. It sounds sensational. Or you spill a little coffee on your goodie bits and now you get to sue. Damn right you get to sue. Now, I don't know what the facts are with this case you're talking about where this woman got a groove on in the car and it shared the sun. I can't understand that, but I'd have to read about it. But this idea about this woman at McDonald's not deserving her award is fallacious.
That's about it for this show. My name is Ahmad Shakaraki, and we catch you right down in the next block for more Street Talk. Peace.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine, messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.